I never saved any money.
Rob.
All the way up to 40. Millions, made millions, spent millions.
Hey guys, it's Brian from the Money Guys Show. The crew has put together a group of popular YouTubers. Let's see what they did.
Brian, I am so excited about this because we love when there are other folks out there sharing financial information and we get to say, all right, what's our take on it? Thumbs up, thumbs down. So with that, let's dive.
Little gladiator style.
That's right. Let's dive right in.
Aaron, you are going to be so proud of me. I've been contributing to a Roth and 401k for the past 40 years, and now I'm retired and I'm ready to cash out. Hey, that's great. How much do you have in the account? 40 years is a long time. Well, according to my calculations, I've contributed around $400,000 to the account. So with an 8% return over the past 40 years, I should have around $2.8 million between them. That's great. Wait, what? What's wrong? It says I only have $400,000 in the account. Ooh, I was afraid this might happen. What? I did everything right. I contributed to a 401k, a Roth IRA. What did I do? But you didn't do the second half. You didn't actually invest the money, so it never grew. Your money just sat there, depreciating. Your money actually has less buying power now due to inflation. What?
Oh, could you imagine? Because, I mean, obviously this was a farce, but could you imagine 40 years going by and that being the reality?
No, this is actually a real risk. Vanguard just released that a lot of their rollover money falls into this category where it goes into the account as just cash. Now, fortunately, cash does earn something typically, but remember, when you go to invest, it's a two-part transaction. You fund it, even if it's your 401k or it's your Roth IRA, but you still have to choose the investment and either set up an automatic investment plan or you personally have to actually place the trades.
And if you want to see just how powerful your dollars can be, go to moneyguy.com/resources and check out our wealth multiplier tool so you can see exactly what your dollars can turn into if you remember to put them to work.
Can you talk about what you found about how debt affects happiness?
Yeah, so one of the things that I teach my students and I talk about a lot is the ways that you can buy happiness. It turns out there's 5 things that you can do with your money. You can buy stuff, you can buy experiences, you can buy time, you can give it away, or you can save it. Those are the only things you can do with your money, right? 4 of them will bring you happiness and 1 won't. Your brain is telling you to do the one thing that won't bring happiness, which is to go buy stuff.
I love it. So there's 5 things your money can do. 4 of them lead to happiness. 1 of them does not lead to happiness. And yet most people pursue that one thing, buying stuff. I mean, it's a society in which we live. You are told to go buy, consume, consume, consume. And I think folks who pursue that strategy often get to the end of the rope and they recognize, man, was it all actually worth it?
Well, money's just a tool, and I think that it makes me sad when people only see the consumption side of it, or they fall prey to the advertisers and all the people pushing these things on you. I was talking to someone, the typical age for a person who buys a Corvette is actually in your early 60s. Yet if you go look at advertisements for Corvettes, it's always going to be the 20 and 30 somethings in the videos. Don't fall prey to all the industries that are pushing you to make those bad decisions. I want you to live a better life. Make your money actually purposeful and represent who you are.
What if I told you you could defer payment on just about any purchase with no interest? They're called buy now, pay later loans, and they are attractively simple. By using one of several apps, you get approved right at the point of sale and pay off the purchase in 4 biweekly installments.
But BNPL loans come with their own hazards, like loan stacking, where borrowers using multiple apps quickly lose track of how many loans they've taken out, leading to late fees, overdraft charges, and defaults. And because BNPL loan payments are not reported to the credit bureaus, they are not a viable way to build your credit score.
But that's not the main danger. The majority of BNPL companies' income is from merchant fees. Merchants are willing to pay processing fees that are 3 to 4 times higher than for credit cards. Why? Because these companies promise that they can get shoppers to buy way more stuff. Instead of a smart financial tool, they become an excuse to overspend.
Overconsumption, or encouraging even more consumption, was not something I had on the scorecard that needed to be solved.
No.
But yet somebody came up with a product to make bad consumption decisions even easier.
It's unbelievable. You can buy anything in the world, $10 a month at a time. I mean, I'm amazed. Even when I'm going to make an Amazon purchase and it's like $15 thing that I'm buying, they're offering to let me spread that out over the course of a couple months. And you can see loan stacking is a real problem, that people end up digging this hole and they just dig it one shovelful at a time. Before they know it, they are literally in over their heads. And as soon as you miss one payment, then all the interests and all the penalties kick in. It is a horrible, horrible stack of cards that you're building. If you cannot pay cash for it today, and it is a small, consumable, exhaustible good, you probably should not be borrowing money to pay for it. Buy now, pay later is not the way you ought to go.
Everybody knows that if you max out an IRA during, say, a 45-year working career, you end up with over $4 million. Everybody knows that. But did you know that of that amount, only 300,000, in fact, less than 300,000, would come from your contributions, and that more than 3.7 million would come from compounding? Well, now you do.
Compound interest, it is the eighth wonder of the world. When it comes to wealth building, it can either be your most amazing ally, or if you let it work against you, it can be your fiercest adversary. So if you have time on your side and you can put your money to work, it's amazing what can happen over the long term.
I'm always amazed. You know, you guys know I always talk about 88 times over. I even have a koozie that Bo is so handsomely modeling right now, that $1 for a 20-something has the potential to become $88 at retirement. That's exactly what Rob is talking about. So I want you to think about your spending decisions and all the other things. If you can just make small decisions today, you really can build your great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
And you look back and you say, how on earth was I able to do that? It does not take a whole lot if you have a long time period. So get it started today with your money working for you.
I never saved any money.
Rob.
All the way up to 40. Millions, made millions, spent millions. The age-old cycle of the poor. It doesn't matter if you make $12 million a year or you make $12,000 a year. If you spend every bit of money that you earn every single year, you both end up in the same place, the same struggle, the same chaos, on two completely different
bigger problems.
That's exactly right. I don't know if you watched that interview. It's wild because when you think about Rob Dyrdek, he was like at the pinnacle. I mean, in terms of all the stuff he had going on with his clothing brand, with the TV and everything, and he learned the lesson that cash flow did not solve the wealth problem, because all cash flow in that matched expenses out did was still, in his words, leave him in the poorhouse.
Oh, look, Rob has done a lot of things right. I think he probably caught on pretty quickly. But I love the mindset factor, because it doesn't matter if you have small income, big income, if you don't get the mindset right and actually take this opportunity and turn it into actual results, what have you actually done? And I think I love I've followed his career, and there's some fascinating content out there on essentially how he took over MTV. I mean, if you think about all the things he does behind the scenes, even with other influencers, there's somebody to listen to.
And yet, even somebody who did so many things right, he just said he squandered it. He spent every dollar he made. He did not build wealth. So whether you are that person making $12,000 or making $12 million, make sure that you're saving for the future. You're getting your dollars working for you so that you don't have to tell the story like Rob told of spending all of that opportunity.
Should you pay off a mortgage early or invest instead? The
Age-old
answer
question.
is a bit complex. Let's say your mortgage rate is 3%. If you make any extra payments towards your mortgage, then you're basically earning 3% on your money in this situation. Now, historically, the S&P 500's average annualized return since 1957 is around 10.26%, but let's use 8% to be conservative. Since you're getting a higher return on your money if invested into the market, i.e. 8% is greater than 3%, it would make financial sense to invest instead of paying off your mortgage early. When your mortgage rate is 6% or close to 7% like we've been seeing these days, the decision becomes a lot closer. Some people like paying off the mortgage early not due to financial benefits, but more for intangible benefits like peace of mind.
In our world, it's a math equation. It comes down to the opportunity cost of your dollars. If I can either satisfy low interest debt or I can put my money to work for me growing for the future, is there a positive arbitrage there? And we think that the math often would suggest it does not make sense to pay off that low interest debt. However, that doesn't always be the case.
I mean, let's first focus on the make wealth behaviors. This is when you know you're in your 20s and your money really, every dollar has the potential to become like $88 by the time you retire. you have compounding growth is just flowing out of every pore of your body. By the time you get into your late 40s, or even let's just say you're 50 years old, you realize every dollar only has the potential to probably grow threefold. Big difference between a 20-something-year-old investing versus a 50-year-old. So you gotta make the wealth first. But then once you get to being wealthy, usually in your 40s, early 50s, you gotta maintain the wealth. There's nothing wrong with de-risking your life at that point. And that's what I like, that you can prepay your low interest mortgage, because you're already at the get wealthy stage. Now we're just trying to keep that wealth. So that's why I've even created in the system. I wrote about this in Millionaire Mission. If you're over 45 years of age, that's a different set of rules than somebody who's under 45 just trying to get that make wealthy behavior under their pocket.
I am sorry, but those videos that are like, money will come back, but you will never be 23 in Ibiza clubbing with your friends again, should have the same warning labels on them as a pack of cigarettes.
Yep.
Because first of all, no, money doesn't always
YOLO.
come back. And second of all, if the goal is to be on some European beach at a club with friends, like, EasyJet can always make that happen. But as someone who used to be in a lot of credit card debt and basically destroyed their finances through that exact mentality and spending, like, I cannot stress enough how horrible a message that is. Because it's not just terrible financial advice, it also just perpetuates this, I hate to say it, but extremely American notion that the only time in your life that truly matters is your youth. Like, you will one day be in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s and beyond, and you will want to travel then too. You will want to have experiences too, and have options and have freedom and have joy. And the more you shoot yourself in the foot financially as a young person, the more you are robbing from that future self. And trust me that your 30s with money are like your 20s, but 100 times better.
This is a hot take.
Preach.
I would argue that getting to travel in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, you will enjoy that so much more than trying to do it on the cheap in your 20s. And those experiences you're building, while they're wonderful and they can be amazing, they are not going to be as rich as the experiences that you build later in life. So all these people that are YOLOing it and just absolutely writing checks that their future selves are going to have to pay back, I think they're missing it.
What I liked about my 20s is that you can be happy anywhere, anyhow. Meaning that I really do think about trips I would go on with friends, and we'd pile as many people into a room, and we'd still have a blast of a time.
And not spend a fortune.
But we didn't squander our future just because we were trying to fake it until we made it. And now I think about, now that I'm in my 50s, and I've actually made that discipline or deferred gratification back then, you do get to do life better. You get to travel nicer. And guess what? You need it as you get older. You get a little bougier. You get a little pickier about where you sleep at night. So do it in the right order. She just said that 30s is better than 20s. I'm here to tell you, if you do this right and actually respect the ingredients to wealth creation, which is that discipline, living on less than you make, that creates the margin or the money, ingredient number 2, and you give it enough time, it's better in your 40s, it's better in your 50s, because owning your time is the secret to that fulfillment and happiness.
Now, don't mishear us. We're not suggesting don't enjoy your 20s and don't enjoy your 30s and don't enjoy your 40s, but make sure you're doing it the right way. Don't squander that future opportunity to look back and do exactly what Brian just said.
The stock market is absolutely getting wrecked.
A lot of people talk about finance on the internet, but very few are actually qualified to do it. The stock market's not getting wrecked. Sure, it's down over the past month, but if you zoom out, it's still up 9% year to date, down from 15% highs. But if you're a regular investor, this shouldn't really impact your strategy. Don't panic, don't pull your money out of the market at a loss, because if you do and you end up missing the 10 best trading days each year, you miss out on a lot of money. Time in the market beats timing the market every single time.
For sure.
Just keep investing. Those headlines are scary to get you to click.
When in doubt, zoom out. And that's exactly what she's saying. Don't get caught up in this short-term mindset. Zoom out and look at how good the financial markets have been. That's why you always be buying. Do not get caught up in the emotional side of things. Just set it on autopilot and your wealth building will be inevitable.
The beautiful thing about always buying is that if the stock market is going down, that's great news. You're buying at lower and lower and lower levels. And if the stock market's going up, that's great news because you're making money on the dollars you've already invested. It is a win-win. If you can always have your money going to work for you, you don't have to worry about what the stock market is doing this day, this week, this month, this quarter, because your dollars are going to keep growing through time.
When you let your money work harder than you can with your back, your brain, and your hands, I'm telling you, we showed earlier in a video, Your money can actually work 90% more efficient than you can with just through contributions. Guys, get in there. There's great opportunities to make good decisions. And even if you didn't start yesterday, the best time to start investing and maximizing your money is today. Make it happen. MoneyGuy.com if you want more great information. We love creating this content. I'm Brian, Bo, Money Guy team, out.